Hello friends, I hope everyone had a fun and safe new year. I can't believe it's already 2024. As we kick off this new year, I wanted to share with you how I'm setting goals and planning for 2024 because this year I really want to focus on improving and monetizing my art and content, but I know for myself and a lot of other artists, planning and following through with your goals can be difficult. So I'm going to share with you how I'm setting my goals for 2024 and planning to set myself up best for success. Before we get started, please don't forget to like this video if you want to see more like it, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe. I'm Rachel, a self-taught multimedia artist, sharing my artist journey and what I've learned along the way. So to start out with, I have listed all the potential goals that I want to do this year. I also have just listed what category they fall under. That's just a thing I like to do because I like to try and keep my goals pretty balanced. I also just have this little status bar so I can help myself track them through the year. And then I have kind of just set due dates for when I want to achieve these goals by. I also like to set how I'm going to celebrate my goals. This is just like a fun thing I like to do for myself. I found it just helps motivate me. As you can see, I'm pretty food oriented based off those. So I just like to have that as some motivation there. And really quickly before we get into these, I just want to clarify the difference between what I view as setting a goal versus maybe a resolution, where a resolution might be something kind of broad that kind of guides your actions throughout the year, something like eat better or read more. That's something that's a resolution. A goal is something that I feel like meets your SMART requirements, which we can take a look at here. So I'm going to use, for example, this art goal I have for the year, which is to complete a sketchbook. This is something that I've wanted to do for a while now and just have never really made it through a whole sketchbook in a year. So I wanted to actually plan this goal out so that I can achieve it this year. So when I'm talking about SMART goals, I'm talking about goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, timely. You may have heard about this before. This is because it's a really good way to make sure your goal is something that you can actually accomplish. So I'm going to fill out each of these categories for all of my goals. So for this one specific, this is just like what your goal is pretty much. So I put complete one sketchbook. A goal that would not be specific would be to draw more. That's not a very specific goal, but completing a sketchbook, that is a lot more specific. Measurable, this is how are you going to quantify it? You need to make sure that your goal is something that you can track. So having an amount is a really good place to start with that. So my amount is one full sketchbook, which I have a 64-page sketchbook, so that's how many I need to complete. And then we have achievable. This is making sure your goal is realistic, and this is where I have found that I usually have to do the most adjusting with my goals. So when I'd originally filled this out, I had set as 128 pages that I wanted to do. This is because I was planning on double-siding these 64 pages in my sketchbook. Since then, I have realized that if I'm going to be using mediums like marker in my sketchbook, I cannot double side them, so I'm actually going to reduce this number here. So I have a few options because I had originally planned to do around 2.5 pages a week because that's what it came out for that 128 pages. So now I have to decide if I'm going to keep doing the 2 pages a week or if I want to reduce my goal and just have it be 1 page a week. I think I'm gonna keep it as 2 pages a week and just move up my deadline, which is under this timely section that we'll get to. I'm just gonna make a little note for myself here. Now, as time goes on, I may realize I can do more or less pages a week, but for right now, I'm setting this as kind of my marker where my goal is to try and do 2 pages a week. So we'll see how that goes. Relevant, this is how it applies to your life. I found that sometimes people set goals just because they sound good, myself included. but they don't actually help move you forward to your overall life goals or align with your values. So I want to make sure that this meets both of those things. And so for me, relevant is that I want to improve my drawing skills and creativity, which will ultimately improve my overall business goals because I would like to have a full-time art business. And then timely, you can see here I originally just had by the end of the year was my goal, but I am going to move this up to August, which means I'm gonna have to change some things in my planner too, which I'm not excited about. So once I've filled all of these out, I like to turn it into a goal statement. So I basically just turn all of these things into a sentence. So my new goal is, I'm gonna say by August, I will have completed one sketchbook with a total of 64 pages by completing 2 pages a week. This will help me improve my art and creativity and bring me closer to my overall goal of having a successful full-time art business. So that is my new goal for this year. And then after I've done that, I like to answer this question: what challenges might I face and how will I overcome them? This is because every goal is going to have their challenges, and if something gets in the way or throws me off track, I don't want to give up on my goal completely. So I like to plan ahead of time how I'm going to deal with these things. So if I miss getting one done, I can make it up a following week. If I have a lot of other things going on, I can schedule time in my planner, and I can also multitask and use my sketchbook to help me with other things. Another thing with sketchbooks that I've run into in the past is not having ideas, so I listed some ideas that I can keep in mind for when I'm sketching to help me stay on track with that. And then finally, I like to do this date breakdown, which I am going to have to adjust since I moved up that due date. So when I do this, I like to break things down into really small steps. So my first step was literally just buy a sketchbook, which I did, and again I have this status bar here. My second step was to complete a first sketchbook page, which I've actually now done. Oops. So you can see I have not started, in progress, and done as my options here. And I'm doing this all in Notion on the computer just because that's how I like to do this. And then these dates here I put in my physical planner because I also like to use a physical planner. You can do it however works best for you. So I'm going to mark this as done. And then I'm going to have to go in and adjust all of these dates here now to meet my goals. But you can see I literally just start with the small ones, and then I also have some bigger marks that I would like to hit to kind of follow that, how am I going to measure my goals. So I'm going to have half of it done halfway to the deadline, 1/4 and 3/4 as well. And then my ultimate goal of finishing my sketchbook. And you can add as many steps to your goals as you want. I found that having more smaller steps and being able to check them off helps keep us motivated and on track to finish our goals. And now that I have all those dates put in there, I am just going to go back and do the same thing for literally all of these other goals on my list. Well, that's just about everything for today, but you may have noticed when I was going through my goals list, one of my big goals is actually to work more on growing my YouTube channel here, and one of the ways I plan on doing that is by posting 3 full-length videos a month. So right now I'm hoping that the first 3 Fridays of every month to have a new full-length video up. So if you like this video and you like my channel and want to support me, please don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on those notifications so that you don't miss any future videos. Happy creating, and I'll see you next time.